Now, we often talk in this space about things to watch out for with bad clients, and I actually put out a video on some of the red flags when you're dealing with potential sales prospects. I'll link to the video above. But and although those elements are really important, and you want to be aware of those, let's talk about some of the best things about freelance clients. What are good freelance clients? What do they look like? How are they like to work with? Well, if you can get a good freelance client, what they'll do is they'll first of all give you the autonomy to get on with what you do best. Good freelance clients are often busy and successful, and they're bringing in an element of support where they realize that they have either a lack of time or skill or ability on that area, and they're going to bring in some expertise, i.e., yourself, to work on that activity for them. Now, when they do that, they don't want to be involved in the nitty gritty in the day to day and finding every single thing out about what you're doing. Excuse me. However, what they will do is expect a delivery of the service that they've required to a high standard. Now, if you're a great freelancer, which I'm sure you are, and you're talented in your skill, that's brilliant, because then you're like, okay, awesome. You're trusting in me to be able to get on with what I do best, and I'm going to deliver that service. Now, of course, there might be deadlines and timelines, but you're not going to be micromanaging me as a client. You're not going to be on top of me every 5 minutes asking questions, which, okay, of course, clients will ask questions and want to understand. And I think they're good clients. I'll come to that in a second, but not asking kind of like every single step, questioning what we're doing and trying to override almost the work that we're trying to produce. So that's one element there, is they trust you to get on with what you do best. The second thing I like is a bit of a kind of interesting link between the first point, is where they have an interest in what you're delivering. So say, for example, you're a marketer, okay, and the person is operating a business and they need you to come in for some digital marketing support. Now, you have obviously a sliding scale of someone who's an expert marketer, which they highly likely won't be because they're bringing you in for expertise, or they have zero knowledge of digital marketing. Now, I quite like it when they have kind of like a base level of foundational knowledge and they actually want to know a little bit more. Understanding nothing at all can be challenging, because they don't necessarily see the value then of what you're doing because they just don't understand it, and that's where you kind of lose out on the first point I mentioned. But and if they have a particularly high knowledge, that's fantastic, but it may be that you get some kind of not conflict, but some difficulties in terms of they have very strong ideas of what they want to do. And then, and for some freelancers, that might be an ideal scenario where you're, given instructions of what to do and you go ahead and deliver it. Now, depending on what level of creativity and autonomy you want in your freelance business, which the people I tend to speak to want quite a lot of that, they can be quite difficult clients. But the ones where they have a sort of fundamental level of knowledge and they're keen to learn, I find really great to work with. Because personally, I quite like to sort of pass that knowledge on, and I enjoy teaching other people about the skills that I can deliver for them. So that's part of it. But also, going back to that point of understanding, they understand what you're doing. They have this baseline knowledge, say, okay, great, I see the value. I couldn't do this myself, and that's why you're doing it for me. But I know how important this is to the growth of my business, etc. And tell me how you do it. Explain to me the steps that you're taking, not in any minute detail, but maybe when you have your reporting calls or catch-up calls with clients, you just explain the rationale behind the steps, and they really get excited and interested, and they're really, really great clients to work with. Now, some of the other things around this are obviously the fundamentals of payment, of giving you the assets or the requirements, login access, whatever it might be you need to do your job. I've had some really great clients at the start who are seemingly great and have a great relationship, but they're just so busy that they never can provide what I need to be able to do my job. We hit a bit of a bottleneck, and there's obviously processes you can put in place to try and reduce those. But ultimately, if you never get what you need from a client, it's very difficult to do a good job. So the ones that will provide you with what you need in good time, and obviously, as I say, pay their bills. They're some of the fundamentals out of the way. Now, in terms of client relationships, sometimes people ask me, what should it be like, that dynamic? And I do believe that you can sort of get friends from your clients. And I have a number of clients that I would go for a drink with, and it would be a great environment, etc. I don't think that is fundamental to a good client, though. I think having kind of a respect and a good, solid working relationship is more important than that. So some clients just won't want to have the small talk when you're going through your meetings or reporting calls, and you just want to get down to business. But that's fine. If they appreciate what you do and they tick some of the boxes that I mentioned earlier, as a freelancer, that's absolutely great. You've got time, you can get on with what you do best, you deliver for them. Now, a final sort of extra little spin on some of the best clients that I've worked with is that they kind of support your growth. So sometimes you're kind of growing together, and obviously it depends on what level you want to get to as well. But if your service is helping to fuel their business growth, they kind of support you as well. And what do I mean by that is, well, they'll give you testimonials, they'll support a great case study, but also they'll act as a referral and a two-way referral. So what I mean by that is where you're speaking to a prospect and they say, I want to get something kind of like a live testimonial off a client. They'll say, okay, great, yeah, you can speak to me. Your good client will say. But also, some of the best clients I have referred work directly to me. So they may be speaking to someone in their network who needs a similar service I offer, and they say, "Oh yeah, I know somebody who could really help. They've done a great job for me." And like they do like a massive part of your sales process for you. They've already qualified everything, and it's like can really help with winning new business. So that's a little bit of a cherry on the top, and that often comes after time of kind of proving yourself and earning their trust and respect. But the clients that go above and beyond and deliver that type of referral on top of being a good client and all the other areas I mentioned can be absolutely fantastic. So a bit more positive spin. There's some of the really good things you can look forward to when you find good fit clients. And share me with your comments if there's anything else you'd add.